12 Sports Team presents your Southern Tier Kickoff.
We are about 12 minutes from kickoff here at high noon, and we are just a few minutes away from getting you our picks as well as we get into another week of football. But first, we are going to head just about an hour north. We're going to Hamilton as two Southern Tier teams are getting ready to start up in about an hour, 1 o'clock kickoff here. Michael Villegas is joining us from Hamilton as Cornell and Colgate are kicking off in a non-conference matchup. Michael, what is the scene in Hamilton right now?
Yeah, Zach, well, the scene, as you can see, it's not ready just yet. We're a little bit ways away from kickoff, as you said, at 1 o'clock. And it might be a non-conference matchup, but don't get this wrong. It is a rivalry game. It is the oldest rivalry, actually. These two meeting up 104 games over 128 years. And get this, it's a tight matchup with Cornell winning 51 of those games while Colgate has won 50. So it's a close, tight race matchup in this rivalry. Now it's the first year for Cornell Big Red head coach Dan Swatcham, who we spoke to earlier in the year, and he's saying that he's hoping that he learned from his time as a head coach with the Ithaca Bombers. He's going to have some help with his head coach, or his quarterback in Jamison Wang, who was the leading rusher and passer last year. So we'll see if the Cornell Big Red can get it done. But right here in Colgate, Michael Villegas, I'll toss back to you guys.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you are a Pennsylvania resident, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY if you are a resident of New York. Please gamble responsibly.
All right, thank you so much, Michael. We appreciate it. And again, that game kicking off at 1 o'clock. But there's some games that kick off at noon as well, 3:30, and some great games on the slate for you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with those noon games, NC State and Clemson. Real quick, who do you like?
I'm going to go with NC State to cover the spread on this one. I mean, Clemson, they have had a bit of a turnaround in their season. Obviously, off the bat, playing Georgia, tough start. Dabo doesn't like to use the transfer portal at all whatsoever. I think they do take the win, but NC State, I mean, that 20.5 line, I think NC State, it's going to keep it a lot closer. That's a team that put up a pretty decent fight against Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same thing. Got the in-state rival. I'm going with NC State. In the last 3 games, it's been determined by 10 or less points, Clemson and NC State. So 20.5 is a lot. I like those two in-state rivals being close games.
Well, just out of state, NC State, North Carolina, Clemson down to South Carolina. But, of course, you do have that Carolina back and forth. And NC State has always been trying to step up to be in that class of big boys in the ACC, along with Clemson and along with some of the other powers that have been atop. But this Clemson offense just is not what it used to be, and they don't have the firepower, I think, to put up that many points. I think it'll be a close game. I think Clemson does survive, but yeah, I'm going to take the 20.5 points and take NC State as well. We'll move on. We're going to go with LSU and UCLA next. UCLA making the trip across the country. I like UCLA here. I think LSU it's a shaky team, and Brian Kelly might be on his last legs in Baton Rouge already, which is scary to say. Who you like?
I mean, we saw a rough game for LSU. They did end up pulling it out against South Carolina last week. South Carolina is one heck of a team down in the SEC. And the SEC is a much tougher competition. It's the hardest conference in the entire nation. UCLA is coming into the Power 4 now with being in the Big Ten. Played their entire time in the Pac-12. I don't see them being able to make that jump and really compete against an SEC team. I'm taking LSU to cover the spread here.
Kyle, keep on going the same note. I'm going with you again. LSU, I just think this team, even though it was barely a win against South Carolina, kind of disappointed some people, I still think this team is very talented. And South Carolina is a bit of an underrated team where UCLA I'm not that sold on. 2 straight games over 36 for LSU. I think this is the time where LSU is going to show I'm a dominant team still, and they're going to win this game by over 30 points.
Wow, that is a big win.
Yes.
All right. We move on to the game of the day. That here, 3:30 p.m. on CBS, so make sure you tune into WBNG for that. USC facing Michigan in what is not a Rose Bowl. I mean, these two teams have met up in more Rose Bowls than anyone else. And in fact, the last time that they met in a regular season matchup was 1950. 58. So more than half a decade ago. I love USC in this one. This is a good team. And we talked about the transfer portal when it comes to Georgia, when it comes to Clemson. But USC, that's the team this year that is maximizing the transfer portal to complement what they've done with recruiting. I like USC. I think they win by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, I think USC also wins with a couple of touchdowns. I'm right there with you. I mean, Michigan is a very good running team, and statistically, I mean, throughout the years, USC doesn't have a fantastic defense, but LSU, a heavy rushing team, they were able to stymie that rushing game for LSU in that that season opener a couple of weeks ago. I have a lot more faith in their defense than I did, say, a year or two ago. And, I mean, the offense has been really just looking great throughout the start of the year. Running through the air, doesn't matter. So I think they'll cover the spread on this.
Keith, are you following suit?
So, Kyle, Michigan, he talks about the running game. When I was 12 years old, I found out I wasn't going pro because of Khalil Mullins. He was on my football team. I watched him practice every single day. And that's when I realized I'm not fit for this ball game. Khalil Mullins alone had 150 yards against Arkansas State on the ground with 2 touchdowns. That guy, I watched him enough. This kid is all around, is amazing. And I think him alone, he's going to have another over 100-yard rushing game against USC. It'd be a massive part of why they're going to win this game, Michigan, and kind of surprise some people and try to build that momentum up after losing Harbaugh.
All right, well, we got 3 more games that we're going to get through here real quickly. Utah, Oklahoma State. I actually like Oklahoma State. They survived last week against Arkansas. I think that's going to be the scare. And, I mean, he's no longer 40, but he's still a man, and Mike Gundy can still coach him up. So I'm going to go Oklahoma State here at home.
And, I mean, I do see where you're going with that. Stillwater's a real hard place to play. The Pokes go crazy. That fan base is absolutely insane. And they do have a heck of a running back with Ollie Gordon. I think Utah just is too veteran of a team. They've had players like Cam Rising there. I think he's on his 6th year now. They've had some players there that have been there for quite a while. And I really think that veteran defense and that veteran offense, they're going to be able to not only cover the spread, but I think they're going to blow out Oklahoma and Stillwater.
All right, real quick, who you like?
I'm going Utah. This defense is legit. Hold the teams under 21 points all 3 games. We're going Utah 2.5.
All right, we got 2 more to go, and we'll try to give them both. But right now, we're going to go Cal, FSU. Real quick, FSU. 0-4 after today. Cal is going to win outright. I like Cal.
I don't know if I can go with that one. I mean, FSU has had their struggles. DJU has not looked great throughout this entire season. I think like FSU, they have too good of a recruiting base. Cal's just not that team they were with Marshawn Lynch years ago.
All right, real quick.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm also going to go with California right here. FSU doesn't have Jameis Winston no more, and they are struggling.
All right, last game. Just say who you like. I like Tennessee -7. I think they're one of the best teams in the country.
Go Vols.
Yeah, I'm going Tennessee 2 -7.
All right, so we are across the board on Tennessee on that one, and we are just about out of time here on the Southern Tier Kickoff Show. We thank you once again for joining us this Saturday and every Saturday to start off your college football wonderful afternoon, and we hope that you have one as well. Thank you, and we will see you later.